Hey, congratulations for taking the first step to solving your slow money blues. My name is Doug, retired U.S. Marine and two-time combat veteran turned entrepreneur at your service. Today's episode is Guaranteed Success. In fact, a couple of minutes ago, I don't know, about 10 minutes ago, I actually did a live video on Facebook just to let people know, hey, look, we're going to be talking about guaranteed success. And I've been tinkering around with a couple of things. But I wanted to just grab your attention with that because oftentimes when people talk about guaranteed success, they don't really understand that there's an actual blueprint for guaranteed success in anything in life. And I guarantee you, if you continue to watch this episode, you will understand what the secret sauce is to getting guaranteed success 100% of the time. But I want to kind of slow down a little bit today. I gotta share some love. So I'm literally looking at my platform. I'm looking at the analytics and stuff like that. And first of all, big shout out to all the people in France. France, I don't even speak French, but for some reason, my people over in France, I'm gonna have to take a trip to France. I've never been, so actually, I take that back. I have been to Marseille, France, but I've never been to Paris, France. So big shout out to all of my fans over in France. That's our largest listening audience. So I'm going to definitely have to come over there and do a live show. And then secondly, obviously the people over here in the United States. And then also Germany. Hey, I love you all. You know, it's great because when you can see the analytics, it's so cool because you can really just begin to shout out, you know, like the country and the people that are in those countries that are actually supporting you and listening to you. So big shout out France, the US, and Germany. And of course, we have other countries and we're gaining traction in those countries as well too. So we're super excited. So needless to say, today we're talking about how to create guaranteed success. Now, you probably listen to a lot of people and I don't know, maybe you surf the internet and maybe you've bought like books and you've taken courses and nobody, I promise you, will never explain to you or even going to college, you know, whether getting your associates or, getting your bachelor's or master's, or even a PhD, I've never heard anybody say you're going to have guaranteed success. In fact, when you actually graduate from wherever, so that's K through 12 or whether you go to college, you know what they never say? They never can make this promise. I promise you're going to have guaranteed success. They can't do it because if they do that, and if you don't get guaranteed success, they don't deliver on that, guess what's going to happen? You're probably going to sue them. So no one ever makes that claim. But I'm going to give you this simple formula today. And I promise you, if you use this formula each and every day, you will have guaranteed success. So our main point, the one thing we're going to talk about is how to create guaranteed success. Also, if you have any questions, as always, go to slowmoneyblues.com and click on Ask Doug, or you can submit your question on IG, Facebook, or Twitter using hashtag SlowMoneyBlues. Of course, you know we always have sponsors, and our sponsor today is Big Net Domain, where the net just got bigger. So look, if you need email marketing, if you need hosting, that would be cPanel or WordPress, or all types, you need to purchase domain, .com, .us, whatever. Just go to bignetdomains.com and just type in your domain you're searching for, and they'll tell you if it's available or not. They'll tell you what the price is. And also at checkout, use promo code BIGNET and you'll save 10%. And that's all year long. So that's one of our big sponsors there. Big shout out to BigNet Domain. And also, I always make sure I have to put a plug in for our platform that we created just for veterans because, I'm a retired veteran. Go to veteranhub.org. That's not .com, that's .org, and sign up for your free account. It doesn't cost you a dime. It just costs you a little bit of time to create your own profile and start connecting, sharing, and building with other veterans. So our poll question today is, do you provide guarantees for your product or your service? And the answer is simply yes or no. That poll will actually be everywhere once our podcast actually goes live on iTunes and Google and Spotify and iHeart, just everywhere. It's great. So it's super cool. So that's the poll question for today. And let's really kind of tackle the one question that I have always is, did you do your homework? Now, if you checked out, I don't know, maybe we had some technical difficulties last episode, but last episode was Who Is Your Idol? But the deal was, or if you listen to the episode, was don't watch any reality shows for 30 days because you actually are your own living reality. And it's called My Life, My Life, My Life. It is I don't know if it's a successful show, but I promise you, even if it's not successful, it is your show. So if you're tuning in today, we're going to really talk about how you can have guaranteed success. And if you have guaranteed success, that means you're going to have a successful life. So not long ago, I had a meeting with a group of small business owners, and this is the question that came up. I shared with them that I could guarantee the success, or I would refund them 100% of their money, because I certainly believe that time is money. Now, people don't understand what that means. In fact, I was having a conversation with another entrepreneur, I think yesterday, and I was saying, in fact, yeah, it was a local sandwich shop, and he was like, "Yeah, my family, we own a couple of restaurants," and I was like, "Yeah, man, I've heard a lot about your sandwiches, and so that's why I ventured out and I wanted to try one of your sandwiches. The sandwich was spectacular, it was great. I bought my wife one; she loved it too." But I was sharing with him that time is money. If you know anything about economics, they have this thing called opportunity cost, and opportunity cost says if you do this thing, you can't do that thing, right? He was like, yeah. And so literally I had set up a Zoom yesterday, and the developer that I was dealing with was over, and this will all make sense in a minute. The developer that I was dealing with over in India, I had spoken with them the week prior. So 7 days prior, we had actually he connected with me on LinkedIn, and I went and checked him out. I said, "Hey, look, I have a site that I want to know if you can actually replicate this site." And so, in asking this question, I presumed that they would go and do their due diligence. And he was like, but his response was, to cut the story short, was yes, I can actually replicate the site. We've been doing it. He was touting all the things that he did. They had a lot of followers on LinkedIn. I went to their website, looked professional. And so he was like, yeah. And so we get on a call yesterday. It was, I think, at 8:30 a.m. My time. And it probably was later in the day, their time. He was on the phone, and he had his developer on the phone. And this is what they proceeded to ask me. Hey, we don't know if you know anything about software, we don't know what the back end looks like. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what the back end looks like? He said, I don't know what the back end looks like. And the reason they didn't know what the back end looked like, because they did not create an account to go see what the back end looked like. The only thing about it is we have been talking we had talked about this 7 days previously. And kind of going back to, time is money, right? So I told him, I said, look, so I went, because I never even set up an account. And you could get a trial version of this particular software. So I was like, oh, I know what it is. Sometimes when you actually get a trial offer, they ask for a credit card. Other times they don't. In this instance, they wanted a credit card. And I guess they were unwilling to put their credit card on file, but they wanted me to put my credit card on file and then do all the legwork. Well, if I do all the legwork, why am I hiring you, or why am I about to hire you? Needless to say, I said, hey, you know what, guys? How about we postpone this? Let's do this again, same bat time, same bat channel, like next Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see if we can get this done. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to set up an account, because I told them during our Zoom, I said, it seems like I am now I'm like the developer and you're the client, and it was totally so. Why did I say all this? Because when I continue to talk about this episode, you know that you will not be successful if you are not prepared. Okay, that's not even one of, but that's not one of the things of the secret sauce, but it is part of the formula. Okay, so anyway, I shared with them that I could guarantee their success, or I would refund 100% of their money. However, it was predicated upon them doing everything I said for 30 days. Now, this is the kicker. If they deviated, they would forfeit the refund. Let's get personal. That means your antenna should be up right now. The reason most people cannot guarantee their success is really simple. They deviate from a proven system or formula that works 100% of the time. Why do you think diets, and I promise you right now, we're only in February, we're only in the second month of 2022. I guarantee you right now, most people have started their weight loss goals and have already quit. And I guarantee you they purchased some plan, some course, some training, maybe even gone out and bought some new exercise equipment, and they have already stopped, and they deviated. They deviated from the formula that we know would work, but they said it's not worth it. So now listen closely, because I'm about to give you the secret sauce to create guaranteed success. You will not hear this if you are a high school student or a college student, or even if you're getting some type of professional service certification. This is how you can guarantee your success in life and in business every day, all day, 100% of the time. First, you have to discover a problem. And I promise you, the world is replete with problems. Somebody has a problem that you have the solution to. Then you have to speak to the problem. That's what we call now discovery or a consultation. Hey, let's talk about this a little bit, right? Or from an M&A perspective, that's marketing, advertising, not merger and acquisitions. You would actually kind of like identify like something like, hey, do you have a digital dilemma? Question mark. That's how you speak to a problem. We know that most people still have digital dilemmas in the 21st century. People still don't know how to do like graphic design. They don't know how to create like an ebook cover. They don't know how to do like a podcast. They don't know how to set up like, if they wanted to do some streaming or something like that, set up a professional in-house studio. There's a lot of problems out there that people have, right? Like some people are suffering from SMB, that's slow money blues. They want to get off, they want to get out of cubicle hell, and they want to get from the house arrest, but nobody has ever told them how money is made. So there's a lot of problems. You just know how to speak to the problem. And speaking to the problem, what you're really doing is you're identifying someone's pain point. And I'm going to tell you what, although all pain, I promise you, it's a very memorable moment. I remember this so many years ago. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember I was outside playing one time in the summertime. I cannot make this up. And my mom told me to come in the house. And for some reason, I was outside, and trust me, I'm a city boy. I did not grow up in the country, so don't laugh. But if you do, it's okay. I was running home, and I ran up the steps, and I missed one of the steps, and my foot slipped off the step. When I did that, I noticed that my left foot was in pain. I was like, God dang, what happened? And I didn't know it at the time, but at the time, I had fractured a bone in my left foot. And when it healed, instead of it healing like this, it healed like this. And to this very day, I have a lump because of how it healed in my left foot. It doesn't cause me any pain. And it healed. It just didn't heal correctly because it wasn't identified. Because, we didn't know that I had actually fractured the bone in my foot. But the deal is, it was painful, right? And I never forgot that happened years ago. And it's amazing how you have these pain points. You're like, oh my goodness, that hurt. When I was on active duty in the military, I remember that we were playing basketball, and I came down wrong on my ankle. And I remember one of my buddies like, don't look. And my ankle was literally sitting on my foot like that. It was turned, and it was a painful thing. And I remember I was in the emergency room for hours waiting to be seen. Pain points. People want problems to be solved, and it's the deal, right? People will actually pay you to solve their pain. Or another way to say it, they will pay you to solve their problem. Remember, so the secret sauce is 1, discover the problem, discover the pain. 2, speak to the problem, which is also the pain. And then get paid to solve the problem, which is also pain. But this is what we're not, and if you do this, you'll guarantee your success all day, every day. There are so many business owners, so many entrepreneurs, so many solopreneurs, so many mompreneurs, so many dadpreneurs that don't even know that this is the secret sauce to your guaranteed success. Just discover a problem, speak to the problem, and then get paid to solve the problem. It's so easy. Now, this is what I know. I can't make this up. One of the pain points for me used to be like, hey, man, when does a conversation go from being like a conversation to being a consultation, which means there should be a cash transaction? I'm not kidding. And I remember talking to one of my buddies. When I remember, if you know my story, I used to be a defense contractor. In fact, I was a defense contractor for about 3 Fortune 500 companies. But one of my buddies wanted to pursue becoming a defense contractor. And he was always trying to get a government contract. And he used to always try to do these joint ventures with other companies that were trying to get government contracts. And we were talking. I said, well, man, when does the conversation become like billable? Like, how do you know that someone's possibly not like basically getting all this information and totally going to leave you out of the equation because they had a problem and you're actually the solution to their problem, but you don't realize you're the solution to their problem? I cannot make this up. So after having that conversation, I'm not kidding, immediately I came back home and I remember asking myself, what are most small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs, and dadpreneurs' problems when it comes to either starting their business or either growing their business? I cannot make this up. I said, I'm going to develop an assessment tool. Because I'm like, apparently it doesn't exist, because if it existed, people wouldn't still have these pain points. And I made a covenant with myself. I made a promise to myself. I said, I will not talk to anyone about business if they're serious about either starting a business or growing a business without taking this assessment. I cannot make it up. In fact, each and every week, when we actually do our live broadcast, which happens every Tuesday, I've been a little sporadic lately, but trust me, I'm going to get back on track. I always say, hey, look, if you need a consultation, just go to freebusinessconsult.com. It's a free 30-minute consultation about anything. You simply complete the assessment and you either say I'm a startup or I am established. So startup meaning, hey, look, that's 0 to 12 months. That's typically a startup. If you're established, it's more like you've been in business for 2 to 5 years and you're trying to get in that growth phase. You're trying to grow your business. And then also, or if you need to do like a brand or rebrand, because we also do that as well too, because sometimes your messaging may not be on point. Your brand may not be resonating with your intended or targeted audience. So we literally developed this assessment tool, and it wasn't really done in a vacuum. It was just asking a lot of people a lot of questions. And so if you are one of those people that are struggling, right, and you're like, man, I just can't figure this thing out, go to freebusinessconsult.com. I promise you the site is still up. It's going to be up in perpetuity. Can't make this up. So let's just kind of recap again. So discover a problem, speak to a problem, and get paid to solve the problem. You can also substitute discover pain, speak to pain, and get paid to solve the pain. This is what doctors do. This is what dentists do. This is what plumbers do. This is what electricians do. This is what construction workers do. This is what everybody does. And some people know how to do it better than other people. So what are our takeaways today? This is, if you have not heard anything that I have said to you today, this is the major and absolute 100% takeaway. Only solve problems that people are willing to pay for. I'm going to say that again. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it 2 more times. Only solve problems that people are willing to pay for. I'm going to say it 1 more time so you understand. Only solve problems that people are willing to pay for. This is how you really know if someone has a problem. When someone says, hey, look, someone says, hey, Doug, I need your help. So when they say they need your help, that's like SOS, right? That's like a 911 call. You like, and your ears should perk up. You say, okay. And before they continue, stop them. Don't even let them ask you the question. You say, okay, but before you continue, I want to ask you 2 questions. And this will go back to the takeaway. Question number 1, what is your budget? because you want me to help you. And I believe that I have the ability to help you solve your problem. So I should get compensated for helping you solve your problem, because in solving your problem, it solves your problem and it makes your life better. And if I help make your life better, then you should be willing to pay me to help me make my life better, right? That's just how this works, right? It's like going to a restaurant, for example, because although you do have food in your cupboard and food in your refrigerator and food probably in your freezer, you say, I don't feel like cooking today. So you order takeout, or you go out to a restaurant, and you can't just order takeout and you can't just order takeout and then be like, oh, well, with all the apps they have right now, I mean, there's just too many. You're going to pay before they even get the food to you, right? You are going to pay before. You're going to pay before they deliver the food. Before you leave the grocery store, you're going to pay. Before you leave the restaurant, you're going to pay, because they solve your problem. And the problem was simply, I do not want to cook. I want to pay some. I want to outsource that. I want somebody else is going to pay. Somebody else is going to literally cook my food for me today, and I don't have a problem, because I don't have a problem paying them, because they solve my problem, right? So that is the first question. What is your budget? That's question number one. So I'm going to tell you, if they say they don't have a budget, they don't have a problem. If someone says they need your help, and then you say, hey, stop, do you have a budget? And they say they don't have a budget, they don't have a problem. At least not a problem that you can solve, because they should be willing to compensate you, pay you to solve the problem. Secondly, this is when you know if it's really real. When do you need this problem solved by? A day? 3 days, a week, a month, a year? When do you need it by? That's the two questions. Those are the only two questions you have to ask somebody. So only solve problems that people are willing to pay for. And this is your homework. And I'm not kidding. This is really critical. If you already have a customer base, just go back and ask the people again. The people you already are serving, they're already solving their problems. You're already speaking to you know that they have a problem. You're speaking to their problems, and you're gonna get paid to solve the problem. This is the homework. Ask your clients if they have any new problems that you can solve. Because if they've already paid you in the past, well, if you continue to solve their problems, and if you've already done it with 100% success, do you think they're going to trust you to solve their problem again? Of course they are. Remember, this whole episode was about guaranteed success, and the secret sauce is discover a problem, speak to the problem, and get paid to solve the problem. And oftentimes what we do is we make the fatal mistake of solving problems and not getting compensated for it. And shame on you if you do that to yourself. You should never do that to yourself. Ever, never, ever. It doesn't even work that way. Nothing in the entire world works that way. When we're out in the marketplace and we're being either a consumer or a producer, trust me, there is an exchange of wealth that is occurring. And if you are solving somebody's problem and they're not willing to pay you for it, shame on you. That's very bad. Always get compensated for your T3E3, your time, talent, training, education, experience, and your energy. Always do that. So look, we're about to wrap this up, and it's been a great time. We're gonna have another dynamic show, I promise you. This is more like the deep dive, but we're gonna release the edited version if you're listening at 11 o'clock. Very small. We may even have that a little backwards, but I've been off a little bit lately. I don't have a problem admitting that. I'll get back on track. I promise you that. We'll be sharp at 9:30, and we'll release the episode probably a little bit before that. Okay. We'll probably start releasing our episodes probably a day before that, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to talk about. And then we'll take the deep dive and we'll talk about that episode. We'll hack that episode so you'll know exactly, hey, what's this title all about? And what is Doug going to be talking to us about today? So as always, tell anyone and everyone you know suffering from slow money blues, hashtag SMB, to tune in each Tuesday. I promise you I'm going to get back on track, guys, from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Particularly, I owe this to all of my fans in France, also in the U.S., and also in Germany. I really owe that to you. Also, everyone that is listening. I mean, like, you guys literally keep me accountable. And I found out also just by looking at my analytics that, 80% of my audience are males, which is cool. 20% are women. And then my demographic is like 35 to 44. So I guess the people that are younger than that, they're like, yeah, not that that's not a small, but that's like over half of my audience, is close to half of my audience is in that demographic. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, follow, like, and share us at Slow Money Blues on social media. Also, don't forget to join our private Facebook group. We're going to be adding some more stuff there. It's going to be awesome. And until next time, I want you to do just one thing. I want you to continue to build, launch, and grow your own personal freedom success system. And I won't see you at the top, but as my mentor says, I will see you over the top. And I hope you have a great, I'm trying to get this off of here, so bear with me. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.